That from Jalibert is unbelievable. I mean, we don't expect anything else, do we?
Hello and welcome to GDD Coaching Analysis. Charles Ollivon and his band of men in blur continue to demonstrate they are firmly back as a Northern Hemisphere superpower. But are France world beaters? In this video, I'm going to take a look at some of the key features of their play, both in attack and defence, that leads to some incredible tries like this one, finished by Captain Fantastic Ollivon, who led from the front all game long. But the strength of this French side is not in just the things that go well, it's how they respond when their back's against the wall, and how they turn challenge into success. Now, just before we get started, I absolutely love hearing your thoughts, so please do leave a comment down below, and indeed hit the like button, as that really is the best thing to help the channel grow. Let's get into it. With 23 minutes played, and Ireland just ahead in the scoreboard, Bernard Leroux gets a yellow card for a trip that just fails to reach the subtlety threshold. And the consequence of that was Ireland having this golden chance to attack against 14 men that so nearly resulted in a try, but for a foot in touch, and thanks to an incredibly brave tackle from Dulin. But there's more to it. The play starts with a 6+1 line-out, which means that there are 6 Irish forwards in the line-out, and 1 forward, Josh van der Flier in this case, stood in the conventional scrum half position. An accurate throw to Ian Henderson, and an excellent maul gives Ireland go forwards. So let's take a look at some of the details. The +1 Van der Flier will latch onto the ball and acts as the rudder of the maul, while both Byrne and Porter bind over Van der Flier, and they then act as the engine room along with both Stander and Herring. Notice how Byrne wedges inside of Healy, who acts as a pillar and keeps the edges of the maul protected. But notice that France only commit 4 in defence, as they've also got a cover for the threat around the edges from Gibson Park and Keith Earls. And I'd really like this from Earls, who comes up flat to keep Dupont focused on him, before then shooting open as Ireland prepared to pull the trigger on their attack play. And Ireland nail this first part of the strike play, getting the ball out to Keenan in loads of space. By setting in this flat shape, it makes it really tough for the defence to read, but I like the way the France have set with the connected team with 3 in the zone where the ball is, which means they can deal with any threats through the middle. So as Henshaw receives the ball, he focuses on holding his feet to encourage the French defence to commit to him, and indeed to ringrose his short line, while both Burns and Earls run sideways at pace, aiming to isolate Penaud stood on the corner. And with the inside defence now having to turn on their heels, Burns puts Keenan into space, who passes to Lowe but without committing Dulin first. And this for me is where France are really nailing their defensive play. Although they're beaten on the inside, both Fickou and Penaud work their socks off to connect with Dulin. Now instead of panicking, Dulin hits the brakes and starts backtracking, which is what then pressures Keenan into passing early as he feels Penaud closing in on him. Now because Fickou is covering inside, Dulin has enough confidence to go for Low without having to worry about a pass or a step back inside. Now while it might not look pretty, this tackle from Dulin is world-class last-ditch defence. He gets as much of his body as possible in front of Low. He leads with his chest and wraps both of his arms around Low, which together brings Low almost immediately to ground. And then, whether he knows it or not, he uses his legs to force Low's big toe into touch. Magnifique. Then just minutes later, and still on a yellow card, they're desperately trying to exit their own 22. Dupont demonstrates his power with a booming exit kick that goes a full 50 metres upfield. Do check out my recent video focusing on his game. Now James Lowe aims to put France under pressure again, but this typically clever block from Dupont leads to an error, but it's this chase from Villiers, Vincent and Fickou that really stands out, as that puts pressure on Gibson Park to kick the touch, which presents France with an opportunity to show what they can do with an outstanding attacking platform. And this is quite simply my favourite try of the year so far. It's a beautiful blend of planned attack and reacting to what's on. The play starts with a line-out variation that France actually used 3 times in this match alone. France have got Dupont at the front of the line-out with 5 forwards, and Jalibert stood at 9. And what this does is it enables Jalibert to attack close to the gain line and hit a lovely flat pass across the face of the defence to Fickou, who's immediately able to get across the gain line, which gives France momentum but also forces the Irish forwards to backtrack. And as a result, they struggle to get set before Dupont gives Jalibert the opportunity to show his magic. Now that short line for Jalibert and Vincent just does enough to create a gap between Van der Flier and Henshaw, and turn shoulders like that are like a red rag to a bull to Jalibert. Look how he engages both tacklers, but gets his arms through the tackle to make sure he can keep the ball alive, linking beautifully with Marchand. And then the magician simply focuses on getting the ball to space, enabling Penaud to take France up to the 5 metre line. Now many scrum halves would panic at this point and rush their pass to the forwards with a full head of steam, But for Dupont, it's like time stands still. He lifts the ball and sees they've overrun, and instead feeds Jalibert, who importantly doesn't run with the ball and simply focuses on getting the ball to Fickou as quickly as possible, give him the max time to weave his own magic. Even the fact that Ollivon was there to take that final pass highlights a key feature of this French team. They don't just play the game, they read the game. While Dupont and Jalibert were doing their thing, both Ollivon and Fickou are reading the field. And even though the other 6 forwards have chased towards the ruck to begin the standard short game, Ollivon holds on the left side, giving France the option of spreading the ball. And finally, there's the question of whether Gibson Park should have jammed in there. And that just shows how unsettling a bounce pass can be. Although the inside defence got drawn in to cover the marauding French forwards, Gibson Park is well positioned, marking Ollivon, and Ruddock has CJ Stander on his inside, which enables him to push hard onto Fickou. But the moment the ball bounces, Gibson Park sees an opportunity to tackle man and ball. But rather than being put off, Fickou uses the bounce to enable him to slide into the defensive gap and uses a lovely bit of improvisation to put the deserving Ollivon in for a key try with only 14 men. So, are France world beaters? Well, that's yet to be fully proven, but what's for certain is they have got something special coming together, and I can't wait to see what's next. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Please do leave me a comment, hit the like button and subscribe to help the channel grow. And do check out my other videos for more rugby analysis with GDD. See you again.